Hey guys, welcome to another video. And wonderful news, the DayZ devs have released the single player version of DayZ onto Steam, which means we can go in and test out 0.63 for ourselves. Obviously there's no other players, but there are zombies and there's loads of content to get into, and I've been looking at it, and what I thought I'd do first is bring you some basics about the controls and the menus that you can see on the screen. So the things you can expect. I mean, when I first tried it out on the stress testing, which happened a couple of days ago, I was confused over how it worked, even though I'd watched the dev streams. So here, hopefully, is a very simple description of what they are. So on the left hand side, you've got one long bar. And this kind of represents your health or your bone health. Not exactly sure, but it doesn't seem to go down when zombies hit you, but if you take full damage it does seem to go down. And within this there is a white bar, you can see there. Now that is your stamina. Now you can use your stamina up, and another white bar on top of that one goes down as you run, and that is your max distance for sprinting. So obviously you want to try and keep your health up. On the right hand side you've got 6 icons. The first one is the health sign, so if you're bleeding or if you're starving or dying of thirst, that will go down, and then your character is affected and he will start to limp and hunch, and eventually you will die, and it will start to flash red, this red cross down the bottom. Next to it is the blood drop icon, and that lets you know if you're bleeding. So when zombies have hit you and there's blood, and there are varying levels of it, so you get 3 arrows beneath. Okay, the bottom arrow is red, and obviously if you've got 3 arrows pointing downwards, that's not a good thing. Then you've got like a stomach or something next to that, and then a thermometer. So those two don't seem to have come into play as yet at this stage. The two next to it are the most important. You've got your hunger and your thirst. Now, the hunger and thirst seem to go down pretty rapidly, I'll be honest with you. And part of the reason is it's to do with the stamina and using up your energy system that they put into the game now. So your hunger level drops pretty much all the time with 1 arrow. So that's a slow drop, a slow decrease in your hunger. But if you happen to sprint, you can see there's 3 arrows next to it, and the same goes for your thirst. That means because you're sprinting, you're using up more hunger and more thirst much more quickly. And if you stop sprinting, your hunger replenishes more quickly, but your thirst takes longer to replenish on the arrow count. So the red arrow stays longer on the thirst than it does on the hunger. So your thirst going down quicker generally as a rule. Now the hunger and the thirst icons there, the knife and fork and the glass, they will go orange and red to indicate that you're particularly thirsty or hungry. And that's when things can get bad. And I've found once you get to that area, once it goes red, your thirst goes red, and your little plus on the left starts pointing down big time as well, your character will soon start to limp and soon start to die of thirst. It doesn't take too long. And the thing about that is your character's slow then, and you can't really get anywhere. So those are the things you really need to pay attention to. So here you can see that I'm actually starving. The knife and fork are flashing in the bottom right hand corner. You can see my character, my figure, is kind of hunched a bit. He's slower. It's the first stage. His health goes down even lower. He'll start to limp even more heavily and ultimately die of starvation. Now in your backpack, if you want to do something, if you want to, say, open these rounds, take them out of the box, you can't do it in your backpack like you used to be able to. You have to put it into your hand, and then on the outside here you get a little icon appear on the left hand side, and it says hold left mouse button to open, to unbox the rounds. You can see it's doing it there. So you actually have to put things into your hand, and it dumps the paper on the floor, lovely, and the rounds are left in your hand there. If you want to unload a magazine, or you have to basically go back out again, and the same process. You hold down the left mouse button. Holding down the button is your action button. That's important. Let's go back into the inventory. If we want to load the magazine, you have to drag the bullets across, and what happens is you get a combine or a swap option. So you obviously want to combine it, and go back out, and you have to hold down the left mouse button to combine and put the ammo into the magazine. It takes longer, increases the tension, and makes it harder for when you're being pursued by somebody or you're in a hurry. Same goes if you want to load the magazine into a gun, say this Makarov. You've got to drag it to combine, and that actually will do it for you. But you still have to drag it to that combine slot. Can also load it from the menu here. You can hold down 5. You have to hold down 5 though to do it, and it will reload it. And if you've got a rifle, say this is the single loading rifle, you have to hold down the number where you got your bullets on. Now if you just press 4, it will take the bullets into your hand, so you've got to hold it down. Again, the action is to hold down the button if you want it to work. Okay, so the inventory is different. I mean, it looks different. You've got this bar across the top on the vicinity and the equipment area. So on the right hand side you can see there's a whole series of icons representing different parts of your body where you wear different clothing, and you can just drag items onto and off your body, but you can't then grab that item from below the equipment bar that is at the top. You have to actually click or select the pants and drag them from that area. It's a small zone. Okay, if we put the firefighter's pants on here, you can't drag it from the actual item. You have to go up the top and click on the pants and drag it across like that. Now if you want to swap them over, you have to click on the pants on the left hand side and drag them across to the other little icon on the other side. And if you happen to miss it, it will put it into the item of the backpack or an area that has the space for it, or it won't pick it up at all. So you actually have to drag it across to the item. You see the color changes there, and then you can swap it. And it's actually a very small area, in a sense quite annoying, and you can't drag it onto the model either. So it's only a small area you can drag it into. You can double click on items to bring them across to your inventory. So there's more limited access. Maybe they'll tweak that for people who are used to doing the other way, or people just have to get used to dragging into these smaller spaces on the right hand side. Okay, so there's been quite a bit of talk about the 360 prone movement that's been implemented. And you can obviously crouch, and with this build you can't rebind keys, so you have to hold down C. And you can see this guy here. Alright, he's turning around pretty quickly, pretty smoothly. There we go. I've got the 360. I'm holding down the mouse button here. Alright, he's on his back now. If he's going to aim, he can aim, look. It goes to 360 round like that. It's nice because you can actually shoot somebody now if you're lying on the ground, so it looks really cool. If you hold the mouse button down, you go into the roll. That's the key here. And then if you're on your back, it keeps you in that position. And if you want to roll forward, you hold the right mouse button down, and you can bring it up like that. It's pretty cool. And then he gets up pretty neatly. That's pretty cool. Now, another thing that's really cool is you can now walk while you're eating and drinking. So even though it does take longer to do those actions, you can do a little bit of exploring while you're doing it. So rather than just standing still like we used to. Some items are bigger as well. The bottle is much bigger. I mean, it's quite a big item, and it probably always needed to be upsized. And they have said that these sizes of these objects may well change. Let's have a look at eating the apple again. So you can't eat it from the backpack. You can't do it in there. You have to do it live, if you like. So here we go, eating and walking. But the minute, if you try and do an action, or stop holding down your left mouse button, then it will stop eating the apple. But another thing I've noticed as well is as you're eating, it seems to account for every bite. So while you're eating the apple, it gradually affects your stats, so your hunger rating. So there's not one big hit once you've eaten the whole thing. It's as you eat it, it goes up. So I've got to place the canned tuna in my hands, hold down left to open it. Although some of these are a little bit glitchy. Eat, so I can eat it now. There we go. And I can of course wander around when I do that. So guys, there's some of the basic stuff. Hope you found this video useful. Of course things may change as they update 0.63, but I think this is roughly how it's going to launch onto experimental. They're really now just ironing out the bugs, so it's a really good idea about what we can expect, and it's much more challenging. You suffer and you lose your hunger and thirst much more quickly than before. So guys, thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, add them down below. If you're not subscribed already, why not go ahead and do it? And that would be very much appreciated. And I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.